Welcome to The Plant Report, a radio show that educates about the green world one plant at a time. The Plant Report is a new educational resource about plants, herbal medicine, ethnobotany, and the human-plant relationship. Listen to our podcast, read our blog, watch our videos, and learn from experts and the plants. The Plant Report is a project of Sustainable World Radio and is hosted by Jill Cloutier. Thanks for listening to The Plant Report because every plant has a story. Our plant today is lemon balm or Melissa officinalis. A member of the Lamiaceae or mint family, lemon balm is native to Southern Europe, North Africa, and the Mediterranean. To learn more about this amazing plant, I spoke with herbalist Kami McBride. Kami is an accomplished herbalist, herbal medicine instructor, and creator of the Living Awareness Institute. Kami has 27 years of experience in inspiring people to use herbs in their daily lives for cooking, gardening, skincare, stress reduction, and preventative care. Kami has developed and taught herbal curriculum for the University of California, San Francisco School of Nursing and the Integrated Health Master's Degree Program at the California Institute of Integral Studies. Kami McBride, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Jill. It's so good to be here. Thank you.
Oh, and we are so lucky today. I get to have your amazing herbal wisdom here to share with people. And we're going to be talking about one of my favorite, and I think one of your favorite plants, lemon balm. And before we go into the world of lemon balm, I'd love for listeners to hear a bit about how you got involved with the herb world and herbal medicine and plants.
Yeah, well, I went on my first herb walk when I was 8 years old. My grandfather had started a kids camp, a kids nature camp, and there were all these naturalists that came in, and they took us on these walks, and they showed us like which plants we could use to take care of poison oak. And I just remember being so smitten. Just, there's a lot of things I don't remember about my childhood, but I remember those herb walks. I remember everything that was said, and I didn't know then, but now I feel like I was really called, and the plants really reached out to me at 8 years old. And from that point on, from those herb walks on, anything that had to do with what you could do, eat, or use a plant, I was just so all over it.
What a gift to receive that at age 8, to know, to feel that calling.
I know. Again, I didn't know what it was at the time, but it was, so like when people ask you, like, what are your kids interested in? Pay attention. Mm-hmm. Because there's something speaking to them, and instead of trying to make them do what we think they should do, and I had many years of that. My parents and my grandparents, they were very disappointed when I started studying herbal medicine. They were like, we put you through college. What are you doing? You could do something great, And it was it just wasn't on the radar of what was possible then. I mean, 25 years ago, people just were not studying and teaching herbal medicine. It was rare. And so to really listen to those callings, even if they don't fit into what everyone around you, because who would know that 30 years later it would be something that was totally viable, right?
Right, and that you were teaching others about it in colleges and at events and conferences. It's really incredible. You followed through.
Right. Yeah. Well, when I was studying, I had to really go far and wide to find information, and now I helped create a master's degree program with the botanical medicine component. So it's amazing.
Well, I just wanted to give you a thank you too, because I have been to many of your talks at the Heirloom Expo and Bioneers. I think I went on an herb walk with you many years ago. And one thing that you taught me that has really changed my life is you said to really integrate the herbs and plants into your life. We used to keep our herbs in a closet and it was kind of like, I don't feel well. I'm going to grab whatever it was that, the tinctures that we had. And at one of your talks, you said, bring them in, put them on the kitchen counter. I think even put them on a Lazy Susan and label them. And then you can say, I'll add this to my food. I can put some turmeric in instead of keeping it as a separate part of your life. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things is really we often think of herbal medicine as kind of like one-off remedies. Like I'm sick, I'm going to go find my herbal medicine. But really, what I'm big on is reawakening this as a home art, as part of our everyday culture. Culture is created in the home. Culture begins in the kitchen, and it's instead of waiting until you're sick and then trying to learn about herbs, which doesn't really work. If you bring them into your everyday life, then you develop that connection, you develop that relationship with the plants, so that when something a little bit more serious happens, you have a deeper connection. But also, the way that herbs really work best is if they're integrated into your life and used as for prevention, really.
Because then you really learn. Today I woke up, I thought, I really feel like I want some nettle tea, and I added some red clover. I soak it for a long time, infuse it, I guess, and then I drink it all day. And I just love bringing the herbs into my daily life.
Right, and the whole lazy Susan thing that you learned, you just get a little lazy Susan, you put it on your table, and you go beyond salt and pepper, right? you bring a few of your favorite herbs and spices out of your spice cabinet, put it into a salt shaker so that you have it on your table, and you can just and then what happens is you will use it more, and you will get a stronger connection of what it can be used for, how it makes you feel, and like you said, when you're drawn to using it, that voice of feeling drawn will get stronger.
And you can learn how they make you feel.
Right, right. Again, when they're out, you use them more, and then you notice after a few days, that's interesting. It's really true when you add the extra fennel to beans and different foods that tend to be gaseous. There's less gas, right? There's just little subtle things.
So, Kami, we're going to be talking about a plant today, lemon balm, which I think you feel is important to bring into your life. And can you tell us maybe tell us a bit about this plant and why you really are enamored of lemon balm?
Okay, lemon balm, Melissa officinalis. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I love this plant is because it's easy to grow. And it's one of those plants that's weedy, it's considered invasive, but I don't mind. And, I'm really big on us learning about herbs that are easy to grow and that can be, we don't have to ship them all over the place and that we can just go out into our yard. One of the things that's happening is with this renaissance of interest in herbal medicine is we're starting to import more and more herbs from further and further away. And one of the examples I use is elderberry. I mean, elderberry now, in January, you cannot get that plant from a single distributor. And the distributors are having to go further and further away to bring that plant in to meet the demand of everybody making elderberry syrup. So I really want to talk about herbs that are weedy medicinal plants, and lemon balm is one of those herbs. And it just has it's an amazing, it smells lemony, but this plant it helps fight colds. It's a nervine, so it helps calm and nourish the nervous system. And it's one of those herbs that's considered a mood elevator. And when I first started studying, I thought, oh yeah, I can relate to it. It helps you sleep, it helps with insomnia, but does it really elevate your mood? And this is the thing that, with experience and really having served thousands of cups of lemon balm tea, I can definitely say that this is the crowd-pleasing herb. This is the tea that you serve when you have a party, when you have a wedding, when you have a group of people that come together and they drink this tea. It definitely elevates the mood. It's not like huge, but you can feel it. Like people they start talking a little bit more. And so it's interesting because it's relaxing, and so people relax, their muscles relax, they open up a little bit more, and then it's like they become more of who they are and they get a little bit happier.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. So it's really a good herb to use when you're a little stressed out, a little tight feeling, have anxiety maybe.
Yeah, it is. It's good for, we talk about lemon balm for insomnia, for worriers, irritability, restlessness, anxiety, when you're starting to get heart palpitations from not breathing. It really does. It's antispasmodic. It helps to relax the muscles so you calm down and just take a little bit deeper of a breath, right? So it helps you take a deep breath. And it is because it's for tension and stress and anxiety and oh my gosh, this day was just too much kind of thing. And so you can drink your lemon balm tea, take a deep breath, and kind of just release a little bit. It helps you to just release.
Even the description has calmed me down. Thank you,
Right.
Kami and Lemon Balm.
Just talk about taking a deep breath. Right. So, yeah. Yeah, what I find it for is just like when your brain won't shut off and you just have this intensity mind chatter and you just can't get out of a loop, right? And then you just get so tired. It helps with that tension and stress and that stress-related fatigue.
I'm sold. Even though I already use it, I'm making it again soon. Now, for people who don't know about Lemon Balm, what part do you use?
Right, you want the leaf, and you can also use the leaf going into flower. But when the leaf is just like that dark green, you can use the young leaves, or you can use the little bit older leaves. And then when it starts really going into full flower, then the leaves they start to wane and not have as much vitality. That's when you stop using it. But for us, we get 2 or 3 crops of it a year. It just keeps growing, depending on where you're at. But it's one that as soon as it'll bust. It's one of those ones that you plant it one place and then it's in 7 places next year.
I love that.
It loves busting through the concrete and the asphalt. I mean, I find it right in the tiniest crack in my asphalt, right?
Oh, it's resilient. That's wonderful. For people who aren't familiar with herbal remedies at all, what's the best way to use the leaves? Do you use them for tea? How would someone make that tea?
Yeah, okay, well, so first there's also another really easy way to use it, and that is that what I do is I take those leaves and I mince them, like really mince them like you would like parsley, and you use them like confetti in your food. It's one of the confetti herbs. And so it's really good on just even like rice, but it's also really good on fruit and yogurt, and you can just sprinkle it fresh, minced really well on your food. And it goes both ways. It goes with sweet foods and savory foods. So you can just eat it as long as you just chop it up really finely. That's cool, right?
Yeah, I love confetti plants, you said?
Yeah, I call them confetti because they're herbs that can be chopped up really fine, like parsley, chives, lemon balm. And I call them confetti because you can just sprinkle them all over your food and like throw them on your food like confetti.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea.
And one of the things about lemon balm is that it's also antimicrobial, it's antibacterial, but also it's carminative, and it actually helps you to digest your food. So that's why I love the carminative confetti herbs, I call them, because you can just sprinkle them all around and they help you to digest your food. So it's also a digestive aid, lemon balm is. But okay, getting back to how to make a tea, you can just basically take a full tablespoon of that fresh herb, that fresh leaf, and chop it up, throw it into 1 or 2 cups of water, put a lid on it, bring it to a boil, and then turn it off. It's not one of those herbs that you boil and boil and boil. You keep the lid on, and you bring it to boil, turn it off, and then let it steep for like 15 minutes, and it's yummy.
I know, and it tastes really, for people who haven't had it, it's a nice lemony, like uplifting flavor. It's really good. It's delicious.
Right, it's a milder, and because of that, it is a crowd pleaser. People like it, and also it's one of the herbs that children will drink, right? And so it helps children. You can help your kids get to sleep. You can help them prevent a cold. If colds are going around, you can serve it after school, that kind of thing. It also makes an amazing lemonade. This is one of my favorite plants to make a lemonade with.
Tell us.
And lemonade, it can be served cool or hot. You can serve lemonade hot in the winter, or you can serve it cool in the summer.
Oh, could you tell us how you make that?
Oh, yes, I'd love that. So, yeah, you make, okay. Let's see, I'm trying to think of like if we want a big dosage or if we want a big batch. So what I like to do is I make a big cup, like 4 cups of tea at once. Like you make a big batch of 4 cups. And then what I like to do is, and it's definitely to taste, right? But you take 4 cups of your lemon balm tea, and then I put in a whole cup of fresh lemon juice, and then I put in a whole cup of honey. And that's definitely to taste, right? But that's, if you're going to serve it to a crowd, you want it to be a little sweet because people think lemonade is sweet usually, but you can use a little less honey if you like. So you do 4 cups of the tea, 1 cup of lemon juice, and 1 cup of honey.
Oh, it sounds delicious.
It is really good. And you serve it warm, and it's a cold and flu fighter. It helps to get all the snot out, helps people to calm down.
It's
great. A good one.
And
now,
one
of the
go ahead. You go.
I just want to say before we go on, there is one main contraindication into this plant, because some people are like, oh, I want to drink this every day. That's fine, unless you're hypothyroid. If you have hypothyroid, this is an herb that you don't want to drink all the time. You can drink it once in a while, but it's contraindicated to drink all the time for people that are hypothyroid.
Okay, good to know. That's good. And Kami, how often do you recommend that people use herbs or ingest them?
Right. Well, when we use them in our like on the Lazy Susan, and we're just adding it to our food, a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon a day. That I'm into that every day. And just different herbs. You don't have to worry about dosage then, because you're just using them in your food to flavor your food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really using our herbs that way. That is herbal medicine. Spicing your food with your herbs is herbal medicine. So that can be done every day. And then we drink tea pretty much 5 days a week, and we just switch it up. We just do different things depending on the seasons, right? Or depending on what's happening, if people are stressed out. Or the other thing about lemon balm is it is a cooling herb. So it is a good herb to drink when the weather is hot, when people are overheated or people have been working a lot. It's a cooling herb.
With the weather, it's been so hot this summer here that I'm I'm making the lemonade when we hang up.
Oh, good.
One thing I've read about too is that lemon balm, the essential oil is very, very effective with treating cold sores. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, well, I don't work with essential oils so much, and lemon balm, it's antiviral. It has a very strong antiviral activity, and people are using it for with the herpes virus.
And just taking the herbs in daily, I think that would help boost your immunity.
Yeah, well, it helps anything, 60% or more, we don't even really know, of your immunity is clustered in the digestive tract. And so anytime you do something that helps digestion, you're helping your immune system. And this is also a major digestive herb. It's a carminative. It helps you digest your food. It helps with gastrointestinal upset, stomach aches. So yeah.
It's a wonder herb. And so one other thing that I read online about this is that it's also a favorite of bees. So it's a great thing to have in your garden, and that some beekeepers even rub it on empty hives to encourage new tenants to come in. Have you heard about that?
Oh, well, just look in your garden and watch where the bees are. They are all over this plant. And actually, Melissa, the botanical name, is the Greek word for honeybee. And so, yeah, it is a plant of the honeybees. The bees love this flower, and it will bring the bees to your garden. And I love that what you are talking about, that people would use it to encourage the bees to come. That just makes so much sense.
And so, is there anything else you want to share with listeners about this amazing lemon balm plant?
Yeah, what I would say is to just really let yourself fall in love. That's what I say is when you're learning about herbs one at a time, is to not think of like, oh, I should do that, it will be good for me, but go out and see if this is a plant that you love and smell it. And don't just smell it once, smell it every day. So on the walkway to my front door, I have a whole bed of lemon balm. And lemon balm is what greets me when I come home. And I literally pick a tiny piece of that leaf every day, almost every day, and smell it when I arrive home. And so your teas and all the things we've been talking about are great. Your lemonade's great, but also just smelling this plant. The smell has such an uplifting, healing aroma that just smelling it every day, if you like the smell, can just be very grounding and healing and nourishing.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I had lemon balm when I lived in a more urban setting. I had lemon balm growing in an herb pot outside my front door. And my little niece, who must have been about 5 or 6, would come over and she'd always say, "What's in here?" And I remember her just picking off lemon balm leaves and eating them along with parsley. And she just loved it. And so I can see how that's so wonderful to have that plant greeting you at your front door.
Right, that smell, that aroma, it's pleasing, and even if it's only for a few seconds, like there's when I smell that, it's like nothing else exists, right? It's like, oh, I love this smell, and then the whole world comes back in. But for those few seconds, when you smell that plant, it's just so healing and nourishing, and that's what we need is more healing, nourishing moments throughout the day, right?
Yes, yes. And have you ever tried growing it from cuttings? Do you know if you can do that?
Oh yeah, it'll grow from a cutting, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. And I know it does grow and it does spread, so it's a very easy plant. If you want to get into growing medicinal herbs, this would be an excellent gateway plant for your medicinal herb garden.
I love that, a gateway plant, yes.
I did see a recipe for mint. It was called Morning Mint Medley Tea on your website, livingawareness.com. And can you tell us a bit about what other things people will find on your website?
Yeah, livingawareness.com. I have online courses, and I have this just full of resources to help you really bring herbs into your everyday life in a very simple way. It's natural remedies made easy so that you can reclaim this home art and really what I believe is that every family needs to have someone involved in learning this art, because otherwise what else are you going to do? It's like, what do you do? What happens when there's nobody cooking in your house? It's people just aren't nourished as well. And so maybe if you're listening, you're that person for your family and your community. And what I do is I take 25 years of my experience and distill it down into the most simple natural remedy, the gateway, how to get into it, how to build your confidence, how to build your skill as quickly as possible.
Oh, that's great. And you also have classes, online classes.
Yeah, first I have my book, The Herbal Kitchen, and also I have online courses, Herbal Kitchen Remedy Solutions and handcrafted healing herbal oils. And you can get on my website and get on the list to be notified when I open enrollment for those courses again online.
That's wonderful. And getting back to lemon balm really quickly, is lemon balm something that you would want to make a tincture out of? I've never seen it anywhere in the stores. Or is it something you just want to use fresh? Or dried?
Some people do make tincture with the fresh plant. See, one of the things about lemon balm is it doesn't store that well dried. So it's one of those plants that when you order it dried, it's kind of like, the stuff that's over a year old is just borderline, right? And so it is one of those fresh herb plants that you definitely can dry it and drink it and use it dried, but it's one that doesn't store forever in commerce like other things do. So you don't see it prepared as much. But yeah, you can make a tincture with the fresh plant, but I don't really use it that way. For me, this is a tea plant. It's just what. And you talk to herbalists, everybody has a different opinion, but I love this plant as a tea.
Now, with all your years of herbal experience, do you have any other wisdom to share with people today that are listening just about herbs in general or herbal medicine?
Right. So again, I really feel that every family and every community, this is the art that this is our heritage as humans. 80% of the world still relies primarily on plant medicine for prevention. And if you were raised like me, I was raised in a symptom suppressive with a symptom suppressive mindset. Take this pill to get rid of that, and that just has a lot of complications and side effects. And we have to get back to knowing how to work with the plants to take care of ourselves and reestablish that relationship and that connection and redevelop that covenants. Create that covenants again with the plant world if we're going to move forward on this planet at this time. And there are plant people out there, and to connect with them. And if you're drawn to being one of those people that's healing that relationship, that human plant relationship, then you start one plant at a time. Find your plant that you fall in love with it, and really develop your allies. Create deep, really work with a couple instead of trying to know it all. Find a few plants that you can really listen to deeply.
Thank you, Kami, so much. And I would love it if you would come back on the Plant Report to talk about some other plants. We'll have to schedule that.
Yeah, Jill, thank you so much for what you're doing. I love your work, and so needed in the world. Thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to all the plants, too.
Thank you to the Green Nation.
Oh, well, thank you, Kami, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, Jill, thanks.
Thanks for listening to The Plant Report. The Plant Report is produced by Jill Cloutier and is a project of Sustainable World Radio. For more podcasts about plants, permaculture, and ecology, visit our website, sustainableworldradio.com, and you can also find us on iTunes, Facebook, and Twitter. The Plant Report is created for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any health condition. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to thank the plants for everything they do.